All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're exploring a concept that is, well, truly chilling. We're talking about an attack that isn't aimed at your body, but at your very will to live. This is the Atman-Null Feasting, an assault on the idea of purpose itself. Just think about that for a second. That's the core paradox of this whole thing. How can apathy, the total absence of feeling, be violent? And how on earth could it be a relief? This one single haunting phrase really sets the stage for a battle against an enemy that doesn't want to kill you. It just wants you to give up on being alive at all.
So to really understand this attack, we first have to understand the target. The story kicks off with what we call the Hesis, and that's the Carnival of Skulls. Imagine a city that is defined by its frantic, chaotic, just ear-shattering scream for life. It's pure, raw, untamed energy, a world of constant noise and relentless existence.
Now, this slide right here, this is basically the key to understanding the entire conflict. The whole story is built on this classic philosophical structure. So you have the carnival, that's the thesis, it's the starting point, but it's about to be challenged by its total opposite, the antithesis. And out of their clash, a new solution has to emerge. That's the synthesis. Just keep that framework in your head as we go.
And here it is. Here is that opposing force. Atman-Null, this encroaching silence, is the story's antithesis. If the carnival is a scream for life, Atman-Null is the suffocating void that wants to swallow that scream whole. And it shows up as this creeping, purpose-devouring mist.
Let's take a closer look at this weapon, because it's not just some fog. It's called the Field of Mindless Existence. It rolls in from the forest and the harbor, and it literally starts erasing the edges of the city. It acts as a semiotic veil. Think of it like this. It's a fog that doesn't just block your sight, it actually scrambles the meaning of everything you're looking at. And if you breathe it in, you inhale the silence of the clot, this deep, profound numbness that just chokes your will to even try to resist.
And this is where it gets really weird. This brings us to the nature of the attack itself. See, Atman-Null doesn't eat flesh and bone. No, it's a metaphysical predator. It carries out something called the Great Devouring, and what it eats is something way more essential. It eats telos.
And this term, telos, is absolutely crucial. It's a fancy philosophical word for your ultimate purpose. It's your goals, your ambitions, your why, your entire reason for being. That's what Atman-Null consumes. The assault isn't on your body, it's on the very core of what makes you, you. And you can see how this attack plays out in this devastatingly simple way. First, the mist touches the carnival. Right away, all that frantic energy just evaporates. The partiers, they don't even fight back, they just stop dancing. And then their masks, the symbols of their whole defiant existence, they just fall away as they give in completely to apathy. And this is the seductive whisper of the mist. This is the lie it tells. It promises an end to all the struggle by convincing its victims that striving, fighting, even just living is a pointless burden. Why struggle when you can just stop? It's so twisted. It frames total apathy not as a loss, but as this amazing liberation from the exhaustion of just existing.
So what's left after the feast is over? Well, the victims aren't dead, not in the way we usually think of it. They become something else entirely. They become the shadows of the clot, these hollowed-out shells of the people they used to be.
In this hollowing process, this is the real horror of the attack. Once their telos is gone, their complex identity, their ability to reason, it just vanishes with it. They fall back into a state of just animalistic endurance. The source material calls them biologically alive but ontologically dead. To put it simply, the lights are on, but nobody's home. The body is a machine that's still running, but the person, their being, is gone. They end up preferring the motionless safety of what's called a glass coffin over the effort of actually living.
And that right there is the ultimate goal. It's not just about defeating a few people. It's about transforming the entire city, taking all of its vibrant, dangerous, beautiful chaos and turning it into a perfectly ordered, silent tomb where nothing ever happens again. They become the clot in the city's veins, a perfect stillness where nothing moves and nothing hurts.
So as you can imagine, this metaphysical threat creates a very real, very big strategic problem for the city's defender, a figure called Der Villa. All of a sudden, he's fighting a war on multiple, contradictory fronts. He's facing an absolute strategic nightmare.
And here's the dilemma laid bare. On one side, you've got the rot,
the city's own chaotic energy. The carnival is threatening to burn itself out from just pure, aimless entropy. On the other side, you have the stop. The mist's encroaching silence is threatening to kill the city with total apathy. So what do? Burn out or fade away? How do you fight both of those at the same time?
The answer is you don't. You can't choose between those two ways of dying. The only way out is to reject the choice completely. The only option left is to go back to that philosophical structure we talked about and forge a third way, a synthesis. And this solution, this synthesis, arrives like a shockwave from a third power entirely. It's not about picking a side. It's about a necessary act of active, purposeful destruction. And its goal is twofold. First, it has to burn away the mist, destroying the antithesis of silence. But, and this is so crucial, it can't just go back to the old chaos. It also has to give that chaotic energy a new, higher logic. It has to transform the thesis from just noise into a symphony.
Which leaves us with this final, chilling question. This is the core argument of Atman-Null. This is the poison it whispers into the soul of the city. If the struggle to exist becomes too painful, just too exhausting, is the peace of non-existence a form of mercy? It's a question that shows you the true, terrifying power of an assault on purpose itself.